Hi, I'm Laura Ray, and welcome to our live stream. Tonight, we're going to be talking about what people don't know about aging over 50. I'm so happy you're here. I'm going to be covering a lot of great topics tonight. We're going to talk about enjoying skincare, plastic surgery, having fun with makeup, my hair journey, self-care, and eating. So these are all things that are really important to us, and I'm super excited that you're here. Let's start with enjoying skincare. Now, I had a tough time with my skin. I started breaking out in 5th grade. That's how young. But I was very fortunate that my parents had me to a great dermatologist by the time I was around 5th or 6th grade. And so I started at a very young age learning about skincare and how important it was. Now, when I was struggling with my acne, what was given to me was heavy doses of benzoyl peroxide and sulfur. And this doctor that I went to in Hollywood, Florida, was actually the person that created Retin-A and benzoyl peroxide. So his name was Dr. Fulton. He passed away a few years ago, and he really changed my life. Now, I still broke out, but the medication that I was on really kept the acne in control. But I had acne on my face, my chest, my back. I had cystic acne on my back. So that really gave me so much sympathy for people that struggle with their skin. I've known that struggle. I've lived that struggle. Now, I went through it again in my 30s. In my 20s, my face started to clear up when I was having children. And then again in my 30s, I had another outbreak. And the dermatologist was a different one by then, and I was put on tretinoin, Retin-A, for the acne. And my face was always inflamed, always peeling. I just felt like I had the most horrible skin on the face of the planet. And by the time I was 40, all of that stopped. I had a reprieve from about the age of 40 until 2 years ago when I broke out with a whole face full of rosacea, and I had a rash on my arms and legs. And what I finally figured out after several doctor's visits and also my trial and error, I figured out I had an allergy to dairy. So when I removed dairy from my diet, instantly my face started clearing up, my arms, my legs, everywhere where I was covered with this rash, it went away. So I went dairy-free after that, and I've had no more breakouts. So that is great. So even now that I'm older and I deal with fine lines and wrinkles, that seems like a day at the beach compared to the acne that I dealt with most of my life. So I want to stop for a second and welcome everyone. Barb, Penelope, Brandy, Cammie, we're glad you're here, and Patricia. We got B. Walker, Kimberly, and Chanel. I'm so glad you're all here, and we're going to be talking about what people don't know about aging over 50. So most people think they're dealing with the worst skin of their life after they're 50. I've actually had the best skin of my life. As I said, I struggled so much with acne and was so embarrassed by it. I just felt like I really legit had the worst skin on the planet. And so now, not having any acne, it's just a joy to not deal with that. Now, as far as skincare, it's just a wonderful part now of my self-care routine. I really enjoy skincare. I actually have fun with it. And of course, fine lines and wrinkles are something I'm working around and doing my best to diminish. But I've also accepted that's just part of the process of aging, and that I'm on a journey and I want to progress, but I'm not looking for perfection. I've never had perfection, so that makes it really simple for me. And I love to see Helen here. Hello, Helen. And I see that Sinsen says 51 still with acne. So I feel for you so much. I mean, most of my entire life I've had acne. So I feel for you. Again, what worked for me really to keep it under control was benzoyl peroxide with sulfur in it. That's what I used for many, many years. It's just not anything short of a miracle that I have no scarring. Especially, I'm amazed on my back, because the acne clinic where I went at the time when I was a teen actually injected the acne on my back to help with it, because it was cystic acne. And at one point I was using 20% benzoyl peroxide on my back with sulfur. So I slept in some very uncomfortable skincare for so many years. So that's one reason I'm very passionate about skincare. I want everyone to feel good in their own skin. That's so important to me after everything that I've been through. And ICB Walker says, so no chocolate. I do have chocolate, and there are some that are dairy-free. There's a brand called Enjoy Life. What a great name, right? And I have some of that pretty much every day. It's dairy-free. I've had no reaction from it. And so that's been wonderful, because I love chocolate. I'm obsessed with chocolate. I've always loved it. So I do have some every day. And Lydia, we're glad you're here. Yes, welcome to the Beauty Club. So we've been talking about enjoying skincare. Let me know in the comments what you enjoy about skincare. I would love to hear that. For me, it's sort of a relaxing part of the day. I especially love the gua sha tool. I think that after working all day, you get home, you've had this long day, it's so nice to actually have some quiet, spend a little time working on your skin. And again, for me, it's not about perfection. I've never been perfect. I never will be. I'm just looking to look the best I can and be the happiest I can be with my skin at whatever age I'm at. And like I said, I'm happier with my skin now than when I was a teenager, because I dealt with such horrible, horrible acne. And I see Patricia says her skin is also the best it's ever been. And she's 66. She's normal to oily skin in her younger days, now normal to dry. I'm along those same lines, Patricia. I had a total oil slick for a face for so long. Even my hair, I used to wash my hair twice a day. Now I can go 3 days without washing my hair. What a break that is. And that's really helped my hair. I have baby fine hair, and for so long I struggled with my hair because I was overwashing it, overstyling it, overdoing everything because it was so oily. So I had very oily skin, oily hair, and then I live in Florida, and at that time I was in Fort Lauderdale, and it's always hot and humid there. And then I was a dancer, so I was always sweating. So I would take a shower in the morning, and I would shower at night after dance. So I was really putting my skin and hair through a lot. So anyway, I think that we can appreciate now that many of us aren't dealing with some of the acne. And if you are, then I suggest, just if you can't afford to go to the dermatologists help me so much. And they can get you on a plan that will help you through that. And so Lydia says, moisturizing and moisturizing. I've started doing an exfoliation on the face, and she's keeping up with that. I always exfoliate. I wish I had had exfoliators. Well, I did, in the form of benzoyl peroxide. My skin was always peeling, but I didn't have all this stuff we have today. Skincare has really come so far as to what you can buy through the internet, the stores. It's absolutely amazing. So let's talk about plastic surgery. I have my insecurities just like everyone else, But I've just made the decision that I'm not doing any plastic surgery. I feel that it's just, number one, the expense. And what I have seen from people I know who've done plastic surgery, there's so much maintenance involved. And I'm just a low maintenance person. Besides all my makeup I review, I really like a very minimalist life. I don't enjoy going to appointments. And so I just feel that for me personally, I don't want Botox, fillers, or any surgeries that are elective surgeries. Anyone that wants to do that, I am all for it, because I want everyone to feel the most confident that they can. So whatever makes a person feel confident, I'm all about that. But for me, I just can't go through those things. It's too stressful for me. So that's just how I am and how I roll. And B. Walker says, fine, naturally curly hair. Humidity of Florida, totally get why you were doing your hair twice a day. She has fine hair. Yes, the texture of my hair is beyond fine. It's like baby fine. So I have to be really careful what I do to my hair. And when you're a teenager, you don't think of those things. And there wasn't the internet back then, right? We only knew what our parents told us and friends told us. So, or a stylist. And back in those days, I went to a unisex place. Do you remember those? In the 70s, where men and women would go get their hair cut. And some of the stylists in those places were not that great with hair that I went to. I had a few bad experiences, so my hair wasn't looking its best, that's for sure. And I see that B. Walker says about AHAs and hyaluronic acids are fabulous. I agree, I love them. I have a product I've been using that has AHA and BHA. I'll be talking about this Saturday. It has smoothed my skin so much. My pores are very diminished from what they were 6 weeks ago. I'm noticing my fine lines are better, so I'll be telling you about that coming up. And Lydia says, I also prefer growing old gracefully. And Brandy says, I love sugar too. It's so hard for me to give it up. Oh my gosh, I love sugar also, but I've cut way back from what I was eating. And we'll talk about that when we get to eating. But Helen says, I always take care of my skin first and foremost. And that's what I've seen from polls I've done here in the community section of my channel. I've asked you what you felt was most important. If you had money to spend, would you spend it on skincare or makeup? And overwhelmingly, it was skincare was the most important thing to all of you. So, you know, when we're talking about plastic surgery, what's funny is when I was a teenager, I was made fun of for having large lips. That's pretty funny now, isn't it? Because now that's in. And actually, I've lost some volume in my lips over the years from what they were when I look at my teenage pictures. So it's so funny that something that was sort of crushing for me as a teen, someone making fun of me, would be, down the road become popular. So I said to my husband, maybe spider veins will become popular. That's what I'm hoping for. I have had my spider veins done through a vein specialist, and the problem is they come back. Nobody talks about that, but I did my veins. I've had them done a couple of times. I had some done when I was around 27, and I had a few in my legs from dancing and all the other things I do. And I had those done, and they were great for a while, and then in the same exact spots, they came back. So I went in my 40s, late 40s, and had them done a couple of treatments at a vein specialist, and now they're all back. So I just sort of just accept them as part of that's part of me. And I talked to someone about it, and they said, that's actually your body doing the right thing. When that pressure builds up, that vein breaks. So that's actually a good thing. And I said, well, that's a different way of looking at it. I'm going to appreciate that. And Lorraine is here. It's very late for her because she's on the other side of the pond, and we're so glad you're here. Let's move on to having fun with makeup, one of my favorite subjects. Having fine lines and wrinkles has made me have to be much more creative with my makeup. I have to think more carefully and just work a little more strategically. Now, when I was a teenager, I piled on makeup, and I'm thankful for makeup because that was the one thing that covered up the acne that was really hurting my confidence. As I said, it wasn't only on my face, it was on my chest at times, on my back. And as a dancer, you wear all these leotards where your chest is showing, your back is showing, and I would just think everyone in the room was looking at the acne on my back or chest. So I really was very embarrassed by it. And so makeup was like my saving grace. I could cover up my skin with makeup, and it wouldn't be so obvious what was going on with my skin. So I really appreciated that so much. And makeup has improved so much since the time I was in high school in the late 70s, early 80s. I graduated in 1982. And so at that time, makeup was just so different. It was a lot thicker, heavier, and it didn't give you that skin-like look. You could tell someone was wearing makeup. So I really feel like this is the best time for us ladies, for us as mature women, because we have so many options out there for makeup. I love so many of these, the new makeup that is sheer, that shows the skin, but does cover hyperpigmentation. We all have some of that, especially me living here in Florida my whole life. And so Lorraine says, I have rosacea and lots of red veins visible. Yes, I have some broken capillaries around my nose, and I've actually thought about going to, there's a spa / plastic surgeon in our area that does those, and it would be one treatment. I wouldn't need to go back, but I know they're going to come back. It would probably only last a few months, and then they're going to come back in that same place. So I've just been covering them up with concealer and a good foundation, and that's been working. But I know that's very frustrating, Lorraine, because it does bring more redness to the whole area. And so also, I can have fun with makeup to work on features. So I love playing with eyeshadow. Tonight I am wearing the Naked 2, the little mini palette, and I wore it for you ladies because you've inspired me. I never wear cool shades. And in these polls, you're all telling me how much you love cool makeup, and I just didn't wear it because I thought I didn't look very good in it. So I said, you know what, I'm going to push the envelope a little bit and start wearing more cool shades. If that's what you all love, then I want to be able to show it to you. So right now I'm wearing that little mini Naked 2 palette, and I actually love this look. It's something different, and I think that's one great thing about being over 50. I feel like I'm so much more willing to try something out of my comfort zone than even when I was younger. I think when I was younger, I was so worried about embarrassing myself in front of people. I was concerned about what people would say. And so I really restricted myself from so many things. And I thought at the time I had a lot of confidence, but as I've gotten older, I realized that I held myself back from many things, not having enough confidence. And at this point, I just sort of set myself free. You know, even with the dancing on the beach, those of you that are on my Instagram, you know, for so long I was so afraid to post that. And then finally, I just said, what an opportunity to share the love of dance with people my age and just have that experience. What am I so worried about? So I just did it. And so I feel that way with makeup now. I'm so much more willing to try things than when I was younger. So I think that's a great thing about getting older is freedom. Freedom, and we just have more choices in life than we did when we were younger. So I see Lorraine says, I love makeup. I cover the redness with some green corrector. That's great, Lorraine. And then concealer and foundation. And Lydia says, yes, eyeshadow and mascara, concealer, light colored lipsticks for her. Brandy says, Laura, do you ever do a wing on your eyeliner? Oh, yes. I've been working on that. It's sort of hard with my eyes to do a good wing because they're so deep set. But I do like a mini wing. I haven't gone for the full wing yet, but I'm working on it. That is sort of hard to do. It really is a skill, and with deep set eyes, I find it sort of hard, just like those of you that have hooded eyes. I know a lot of people with hooded eyes talk about how hard it is to do a wing, and I'm sort of in the same boat with deep set eyes. It's very challenging. And Debbie says, Laura, do you know a dupe for the IT Cosmetics CC Cream Blush? Ooh, your tan looks great. Well, thank you so much. I'll have to look into that, Debbie. I've never tried the CC Cream blush. I have used some of the ombre blush. That was beautiful. I love that. That was such a pretty blush, but I haven't tried any of their cream blushes. Tonight I'm wearing a Patrick Ta palette. I wanted to try to see if I could find a dupe for any of the shades. It's just 2 shades. It's the same shade, but in a cream and a powder. It comes in a little palette. It's not the large Patrick Ta, and I really like this blush. And what I'm wearing for a highlighter is the new Flower Beauty, the one in the tube. I'm really loving that. And thank you, Debbie. Yes, this is a really neat, she said about my pink lips. This is from Mally. And I feel like we have really been missing out. You heard so much about Mally right around the time I started on YouTube about 8.5 years ago. And now we hear so little about Mally. So I wanted to try some of her products again and share them in future videos. So the lipstick I'm wearing is actually part of a 3 lipstick collection that I got on Amazon. And it came with a couple of nude shades and then this one. So Laura Lynn says, yes, grace and freedom about getting older, and I totally agree with that. We look at life differently, don't we? And Brandy says, so many of you have tried the wings and have struggled a little bit with that like me. So if I can figure a way to do it better, I will definitely share, because I know so many of us would like to do more of a wing, but it's very hard. And hello to John. We're so glad you're here. John is such a sweetheart, and he works with Natalie. Natalie's talked about Natalie, the beauty diva, and he's such a wonderful person. So thank you, John, for being here, and Ronnie. And Tamara's here. We're so glad you're here. And Lydia. Lydia says, Laura, thank you for the Verse Cleansing Balm. I went to Target Ulta to get it, and now I'm addicted. I really like that one too. And I also noticed that Cammie said that she loves Mally. Oh my gosh, Cammie, I have some great Mally products that I want to share soon. One I'm going back to, actually I have it here because I struggle with shine when I'm filming. These lights are so harsh, and I will put so many layers of powder and I'll look and I'll still have a shiny nose. So I ordered this from Mally. This is their Evercolor Poreless Face Defender. Now I ordered a travel size. This is for travel, but I'm going to order the regular size, which I've had before. This just takes all the shine away and makes your makeup last. I wore it to school the other day. I came home and my makeup looked like I had just put it on. I couldn't believe it all those hours later. So I will be sharing some Mally stuff soon. So again, with my makeup, I look at it like I'm looking for polished, not perfection. I just want, when I go out, to feel my best. And I wear different amounts of makeup depending. If I'm running to Target, I might just use some of my like MAC face and body, something very thin. If I were going out with people and I was going to be out for several hours, I would wear something maybe a little more full coverage, a little more long lasting. To school, I usually wear something fairly sheer, like the MAC face and body, or one that I'll talk about Saturday too, I love, is the Catrice True Skin for drugstore. So that lasts me hours and hours for a full school day. So those are just some, but I've talked about on the channel so many I love, like the CoverGirl. And and where do they sell Mally? Well, I know they still do on, I believe, QVC, but I actually found better prices on Amazon for some of the products. They were actually lower. I looked on QVC, I looked on Amazon, and there was a few dollars difference. Plus, because I'm a Prime member, I've been a Prime member for many, many years, I don't pay shipping. So, and I get it here quick. So that's why I went ahead and everything that I purchased, I got off of Amazon. But I love Mally so much. And I do go out sometimes without makeup on, but I always feel my best with makeup. That's just how it is. And that's sort of maybe, my mom's the same way. I grew up with that. When we went out, we put on makeup. So I just love it for the creativity and the fun of it too. What do you love about makeup? If you tell me, I would love to tell those that are watching the replay what you're saying about why you love makeup so much. But I love the creativity of it, seeing what I can come up with. And I think that is the artist in me that loves that. Now let's talk about hair. My hair journey has been a long journey. I have had everything. I've had it totally curly in the 70s, a full head of curls. I begged my mom in the 5th grade to give me a lilt perm. How many of you remember lilt? The whole house would smell like a perm. And so I always wanted curly hair, but my hair wasn't curly. It was pretty straight, and this curl that I have now is a new thing for me and really happened during menopause. All of a sudden, I noticed that my hair was very frizzy, and I was watching some YouTube videos, and somebody said, if you have frizzy hair, it's a curl looking for a place to happen. And I said, I wonder if I really have curly hair, and I just don't even know it. I'd worn a bob for years. That was my main style I've had most of my life, is a bob to the shoulders. Now I've had it to the chin. I've had a lot of different styles of the bob, but that's been my main haircut. And it worked great for fine hair. It was wonderful. I was getting constant cuts, so my hair would look fuller. And I just felt like that style really worked for so long. But then I just got tired of it. I got tired of looking at myself in that bob every day. And when my hair started getting so frizzy, I thought, I'm going to put some gel in it and just see what happens. And then came the beach wave. Now, what I did to my hair tonight, I did blow my hair out. And then I took a wand that I have that doesn't have a clamp and wrapped it around it, and then I just take the wand out. It takes me all of 5 minutes. I don't keep the heat very high. I do use heat protectant on my hair, and that smooths it out. I can get curl with just gel, but it's more like what they call seaweed hair, where it doesn't clump enough together and doesn't look smooth. So if I'm just hanging around the house, I will do that. But if I'm going out, I really like to use the wand or a curling iron to get a more finished, polished look to my hair. That's my favorite style. And Lydia says, oh yes, I got many perms back then. And hello to Kelly Girl 83. We're so happy you're here. And Tamara says, I wear makeup pretty much every day. I find it fun. Me too. And I put it on, and she says she's ready to take on the day. And I agree with that. I feel the exact same way. And Brandy says, I have Hawaiian hair. It's so curly and thick and not in a good way. Oh, most of us would love thick hair, Brandy. And, you know, actually, I did a poll recently, and so many of you said you weren't interested in not necessarily growing your hair faster. You were more interested in thicker hair. So I purchased a product I'm testing right now. I won't be able to give you a review for about 2 months, but then I will show you the results. I've taken pictures, and I'm going to see if this product does as it claims and improves the density. I would like to have thicker hair in the part line, and that seems to be what a lot of you wanted too, that the part isn't as noticeable, maybe in the sides here. Now what has helped me so far a lot from where I was, again it's a journey, is my Vital Proteins, the collagen powder. I've had a lot of hair growth in here. All this I never had before. My hair line was receded further back. I've shown on Instagram before and after photos where my hair, the density of it has definitely improved. And my stylist, who does my hair about every 6 weeks, has noticed a great difference. So it took a couple of months or so before I started seeing the change. But I just put 1 scoop of the powder in my coffee every morning, and that's what's happened from it. Some people don't have those results either. Oh, let me see, I'm messing my hair up here. Some people don't have those results. They've said to me their hair didn't seem to be that much thicker. But for me, my nails were a little stronger. It didn't seem to really help my joints. I don't have a lot of issues with the joints, but sometimes my hands do bother me, mainly if I eat wheat. I have noticed that my hands bother me. They'll get tighter, and I'll feel it here in the knuckles and in the joints. But if I try to stay off the wheat, then I do pretty good with that too. But let's see what we have in the comments. I see more ladies that had the lilt perm, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. And those perms really ended up with me just having fuzzy hair. I had a lot of fuzzy hair days. Now, I tried extensions. I wanted thicker hair too, and I did want longer hair. So when my daughter, a little after my daughter was born in 91, they were really starting with extensions at this salon I went to. I had long extensions put in, but again, this sort of goes back to what we were talking about, plastic surgery. The maintenance on extensions is a lot. It was a lot of money, a lot of maintenance, because they would take hair and glue on hair to your hair. So that's basically what they do at a lot of the salons for extensions, and they hide it. They put it in these areas like around the ears and back here where the top layer of your hair will cover the extensions. But then I was still very self-conscious with it being windy in Florida many days. Your hair's blowing, and then you see these glue pieces in your hair, and people are going to know what's going on. So I tried it in the 90s. I didn't do it for very long because the expense was just way too much. Now, before my daughter got married, around 5 years ago, I did it again because I thought, well, they've probably improved things a lot since the 90s. And there was a lady sitting next to me in the salon that was a little older than me, I'd say in her 60s, and her hair looked great. And I said to my stylist, what is she doing? Her hair's beautiful. They said, that's extensions. She had some extensions put in, and I said, oh, I would love to have some because my daughter's getting married. I want my hair to look better. I want it to look thicker. We're going to have wedding photos taken. So I did them again, but you know what? It wasn't any better than the 90s. There was so much maintenance. They fall out. You're brushing your hair, and all of a sudden out comes a thing of extension and a lot of money. A lot. You would probably go to get these touch-ups every 6 weeks or so. You need them touched up, and that would probably cost $150, $160. So again, I just felt like the money was too much. It was just everyday maintenance with it, so it wasn't for me. But if someone has a special event, maybe they're going to a reunion or they're going to a wedding like what I was doing, it might be something you consider for that. But for me, I'm not a celebrity. I don't have people working on me every day. I'm paying for all of this myself with my hard-earned money, and I just felt like it was too much. So I stopped doing it. If I had if my hair was thinning and I got very self-conscious about it, then I would consider these toppers or a wig. The wigs look amazing now, and I've thought about trying a wig on the channel. Would you be interested in that? I mean, there's so many channels that show wigs, and I just have never done it. But if I was due to a medical condition or anything that would happen, losing my hair, I know that would be very upsetting to me, and I would do something. So I probably would buy a wig. That is most likely what I would do. They also have these toppers that you can just put in a certain area of your hair where it's balding, and those are great too. So those are some options I would be willing to try, but I doubt that I will ever go back to the extensions because of the maintenance and the expense. So let's talk about self-care and what you do for self-care. I see Sandy says, but are they hot? Do you mean hot looking or hot? Tell me which one, Sandy. But I love the look for a while, but as they're falling out, your hair's not looking as good. So when I left the salon, I felt like, wow, my hair looks great. It's styled, it looks thick. But as the month wears on and the extensions are falling out, because what happens is that glue, the little glue they glue in with, sort of gets dried out and starts flaking off. And as those go away, then the whole thing falls out. So when you go back for your regular appointment, there's so many missing, and then they're putting new ones in. So again, it looks great for a while, but it's such high maintenance and so much money. So I see Beat Walker says she's been watching a lot of content regarding rice water. It takes a few minutes, and you still haven't tried it. I don't know that I would recommend that, and I'll tell you why. I've seen all those videos, but there's a YouTuber I watch, a younger YouTuber, who is awesome, and she did that, and it's so high in, I guess, the proteins that her hair got very damaged and broke off. So I wouldn't recommend the rice water. I would stay away from that. These things sound great, and there's a lot of people talking about these things that aren't dermatologists, and they're saying, oh, it works great. Well, maybe it works great for their hair type, but I have very fragile hair. So if I use something like that, I might end up with it broken off, and that would really be upsetting for me. So I don't know, B. Walker, if I would recommend rice water. I've heard a lot of negative things about it. Debbie says she loves wigs. You can change your hair without hurting your hair. I agree. That's the thing that's great about them, as opposed to wearing even clip-on extensions can pull on your own natural hair, and you can lose hair over time with those. So, so Sandy says a hot temperature. Well, I don't know about that. If you're saying, did I get hot with them body-wise, I didn't feel any different really as far as that. And because I know some people say they get hot in a wig, like they get overheated. But some of these wigs that cost more are just made so beautifully that I hear a lot of people say they don't get overheated by them. But I personally have not tried one. And Debbie's saying her cousin has alopecia and her wigs look great. And my sister wears wigs too because of hair loss. They can get hot. Yes, they could. Like I said, I can't speak to that because I've never tried them, but maybe I should. Brandy says, Laura, would you go gray naturally or platinum? And I would say my answer is no. I love gray hair on other people, but my coloring, I just think it's not for me. My coloring of my skin is neutral to warm. My eyes are hazel. Green and brown, and just my overall coloring is very warm. Now my aunt went totally gray. She looks amazing, but she's got pale skin, blue eyes. It just looks beautiful on her, but I just don't like it for myself. And so I'm not gonna go gray, but I love other people with gray hair. And there's so many young people now that love gray. That's become a very popular color. So I'm so glad you're here from Ireland. Welcome. And yes, so B. Walker says with the rice water, you got to wash it out. Yes, it's not a leave-in. But again, I've heard people overdoing that and having hair breakage. So we don't want that. Now, in the past 2 years, I've focused more on doing things at home. We've all been home a lot, and I've focused a lot more on my hands because, as you know, I teach public school, and I've been in school this entire time. We had a short reprieve when everything first started, but I have been at school all that time using hand sanitizer, washing my hands just tons of times during the day. So I've had to really focus on hand care. I do use my skin care on my hands, so whatever I'm doing on my face, I bring down to my neck. I've been paying more attention to my hands, and I really have gotten into the gua sha. I love it just as much for the relaxation as I do the lifting. I feel that it does great for lifting sagging skin. I feel like when I do it, at least for several hours, my fine lines are plumped up. You definitely can see the skin looks better too. It's almost like a little workout for your skin. Just like when I exercise and I'm done, my skin just looks so much more plump and healthy. That's how I feel with the gua sha too. And so I love that, but I also make sure to try to get as much sleep as I can. I feel sleep is so important. I don't get enough sleep, but I try. And I drink water all day, and I just feel like the success to feeling good is moving. I used to love what Denise Austin would say, if you rest, you rust. And I feel pretty much like that for myself. And fortunately, the job that I work as a teacher is not the teacher of long ago that they show in the movie, sitting at the desk just waiting for kids to come to them. I am up moving all day. I don't wear a Fitbit, but some of the teachers I work with do. And they'll say, look, Laura, I've already got over 10,000 steps, and it's only lunch. And so most likely I would say at my job, I walk between 10 and 15,000 steps a day just at my work, and then I come home and I'm moving around a lot too. So I think moving to reduce stress is just so important. I would love to hear what you all do for self-care. What do you enjoy? But movement to me can come in many forms. I'm sort of going into my workout / eating right now to share with you because I get a lot of questions about it. I live very organically, and what I mean by that is I listen to my body. If I have worked all day at the school, I get home late, I'm exhausted, I'm not working out. I'm going to relax. I'm going to go do my gua sha. I might listen to some music, spend time with my family, and go to bed. So I'm not a person anymore. When I was younger, I used to be more stringent, that I had to work out every day. Now what I do is, like I said, I listen to my body, and I think that's one of the great things about being over 50, I'm getting close to 60 now, is we wise up. We know when we need to rest. We know when we're up to more than that. So I really stick with that. I love to walk. I do walking. I've shared with you before that I love Leslie Sansone. I have done her workout for over 20 years. I love Denise Austin. I've done her workout. And if you listen to both of them, they're real people. They're all about keeping it real. And right now, actually for the past several years, I haven't even been a part of a gym. When I was younger, I had a gym membership, and mainly I went to do something with my husband. He liked going there. It was something we could do together. We were both working a lot of hours and didn't have a lot of couple time. So that was our time to get away from the house, go do something that was good for our health, and spend time together. But I haven't had a gym membership in several years since I've been a gym member. So basically what I do for exercise is whatever I feel like. If I feel like going for a walk on the beach, I do that. If I feel like the weather's not great, I'll stay inside and do a video or try a yoga video. I like to switch it up and don't worry about being so regimental. And that has made me so much happier. When I was younger, I used to feel like a failure if I didn't complete a workout. I would write down what I was going to do for the week, and if I didn't hit those targets, I felt like I had failed myself and I wasn't doing good. Now I don't feel that way at all. I just roll with it. Just like you have to do at school. As a teacher, you sort of have to roll with things. You can't be very regimental. And I felt like that has brought a lot of happiness to my life. And happiness is going to make everything better. It's going to make your skin better. It's going to make your relationships better. When we're happy, just everything changes. And I see Lydia says, I used to do Leslie Sansone. I haven't worked out for years. Well, what I love about Leslie is anytime with her, just put on the video and you're back where you left off. Leslie does 1 mile DVDs, 2 miles, all the way up to 5 miles, and now she's on YouTube. Now I have a book, a big book of all her DVDs I've bought over the years. I probably bought 40 or 50 of them. I have pretty much any she's ever made because I loved switching out the workouts and doing something different every day. What I love about her workouts is you can do it indoors. You don't have to rely on the weather. Here in Florida, the weather's so unpredictable. It'll be sunny 1 minute, then you'll get home from work and it's pouring rain. So I love Leslie's workout because any time of day I can do it. I've done it before school, before I'm exhausted from work. So I did that for a lot of years. I've just had to sort of change whatever I'm doing depending on what other things are going in my life. So my life doesn't revolve around my workouts. My workouts revolve around whatever's going on in my life. And so I see Lydia says, we walk in the park when it's warmer. That's awesome. And Debbie says, at 66, I listen to my body and I do exactly like you do. I just love to dance. That's great, Debbie. I dance sometimes in the house. We put on music. Sometimes my husband and I just turn off all the shows. We put on music and we dance, just like it's a disco right in the living room. The two of us, we have so much fun. And it just is a great way to still connect. And Helen says, I always do Denise Austin workouts. I love her. I've been doing them for years. I have too, and I actually got to meet Denise. Let's see, it's been around, I met her in 2003 was when I met her, November 2003. And she's just like she is on camera. She's amazing. So I loved her for so long, and her workouts helped me so much. My husband actually used to record them when she was on ESPN on a VHS tape, and I would do them before school in the morning. And just the motivational things she would say, the positivity had such an impact on my life. I will never be able to thank her enough. Her or Leslie or Teresa Tapp. I've done T-Tap for many years. Now, Teresa passed away about 2 years ago now, but I did her workouts for so long, and someone has posted them on YouTube, and they're amazing. So I love T-Tap, Leslie, and Denise. Those have pretty much been my workouts since I've been an adult. So I wanted to share a little bit about eating because I get a lot of questions about it. I will never do a what you eat in a day video. I get that question so much. And the reason I won't do it is because I'm not an expert. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a doctor. And I just feel like whatever I'm doing isn't necessarily going to work for someone else. But I will say that I've cut out dairy, and that was for my skin. As I said, I broke out with rosacea, and I love dairy. I was having so much of it. I was having yogurt, cottage cheese. I was having milk in my coffee. And when I broke out all over my body, it wasn't just rosacea on the face. And I don't mean just, that was something, but my arms were covered in a rash and my legs. And so I knew it was probably something I was eating. And the dermatologist didn't say anything about that, but I had a feeling, and I just cut everything out except pretty much chicken and green beans, just very simple food, for about a month, and started reintroducing food after my skin cleared up and realized it was dairy. So I use almond milk now. I use oat milk. I've fallen in love with those. I don't really miss the dairy like I thought I would. There's so many things out there now that are dairy-free. And I love treats, so I will have a dairy-free treat whenever I feel like it. Again, I listen to my body. If I'm not craving it, I don't eat it. If I'm craving it, I might crave something for 2 or 3 days, then I just have it. And that way I feel happier. I don't feel deprived of anything. And that's pretty much what I do. I love coffee. So I have coffee every morning. And I just think of my food as fuel and energy. And I try to eat whatever makes me feel my best. If I find something isn't working for me, it gave me a stomach ache, or I notice anything that I'm off my game, then I just don't eat it. I realize that that's something that I have to accept as we get older. Some of us, like me, develop allergies to things, and we have to sort of find our way and navigate around that. So that's pretty much how I deal with eating, and that way I enjoy it. I do have some treats, so I don't deprive myself of that, and that way it's not an issue. So that's pretty much everything that I had for tonight, but I want to see if you have any questions, if there's anything that you would like to talk about that you think people don't know about aging over 50. I would love to hear maybe something you love about being over 50. And I did a post on Instagram the other day, and I said, what I love about being over 50 is choice. You know, when I was younger, I had 2 daughters, working full time, so much going on that there was very little time for me. Very little time for me to do anything fun that I loved. And don't get me wrong, I love being a mom, I love being a teacher, but there just wasn't time. There's only so many hours in the day. But now that my daughters are grown, they're 30 and 32 years old, and now that I've taught for many years, I have some time in my life to do things I love, like dancing on the beach or walking on the beach. So things that I sort of pushed to the side, I now have time for, and I just really appreciate that. I think that's very fortunate that I do have time to do those things. And B. Walker says the food industry is constantly tweaking things so easy for people to develop an allergy you didn't once have. Yeah, I was shocked when I realized I had an allergy to dairy because I've had it my whole life, and I really love dairy so much. But I'll tell you, the almond milk, the oat milk that they have now is so delicious. And thankfully, there are all these options for people like me that have an allergy. Well, ladies, it has been wonderful being here with all of you tonight. I think we have so much to appreciate it that we've made it to our age. I am so thankful. There are people that I'm close to that aren't here anymore, that didn't make it to my age. And that really changed my whole perspective. I lost someone very close to me when he was 31. And so I think every day over 31, I'm so fortunate. And I know many of you have either a friend or a family member that you lost young. I've lost students. I had 2 students die very young. And so when I look at that and see that could happen to children, that, you know, especially it's different when it's someone you know this happens to children, but when it's someone you've known, you loved, you worked with, you had a relationship with, it just is life-changing. So I really appreciate every day. And my husband has this saying that every day's a holiday, and that's pretty much how I look at it. And so I appreciate all of you so much. Now I want to tell you that I have a link for Laura's Lifestyle. This goes to my Amazon store, and I do receive a commission. That's what keeps my channel going. My live streams, all the expenses that come with having a YouTube channel. So I appreciate so much. You ladies have been amazing. You shop these links and you've helped out so much. I put in the Laura's Lifestyle. I always keep it updated, new things that I'm loving. And like the earrings I'm wearing tonight, I have linked in there. And so if you're interested, you can click on that link. It's right in the description part of the video. And just take a look and see if there's anything you could use, or maybe for a friend or a relative that has a birthday coming up. I try to pick things that are affordable, and of course, everything in there I have used and loved, or it wouldn't be there. These are all things that I have in my closet, in my jewelry box, that I use all the time. So before we leave, I see Lori has said, I've learned to enjoy the simple things in life. I so agree with you, Lori. I've always loved the beach. Growing up in Miami, one of the first places my family took me was to Miami Beach. I loved it. My parents loved the beach. Every vacation, even though we lived a few minutes from the beach, was always a beach vacation or a mountain vacation. We had family in North Carolina in Cherokee. So we used to go see them, or we would do a beach vacation. But I don't think I ever appreciated it to the level that I do now, especially in the past couple of years. That was a place I could go and be free and just enjoy it. I appreciate birds, the trees, the flowers, just everything so much more. Even though I sort of was a nature kid, I was that kid in 5th grade that had the folder that said, "Save the manatees." I was so worried. At that time, the manatees were going to be extinct. I was that kid that wrote "Save the manatees" all over her folder in 5th grade. So I've always appreciated nature, but at my age, it's on a whole new level. And I think that's one of the great things about getting older is we don't know when we're younger that we're not appreciating it at that level till you get there. And I can only imagine, like my parents who are 79 and 80, the level of appreciation they have for everything has gone to a level above mine. I can see it. I can see it in the things they say, how they appreciate people they grew up with, teachers, friends. It's just absolutely amazing, that gift that you get as you get older. So I want you to know that I appreciate you so much, and I thank you for being here. I've got a great video planned for you on Saturday. I'm so excited about. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have some great new products to share with you, and I wanted you to, before I go, I want to look at the chat and see a few things. Seize the day. I agree, B. Walker. And Lydia says, mental health is very important. Oh, that is so true. And yes, if you look around you, everything that's around is a blessing. And I see Emmer Henry says, I lost my brother in 2020 at the age of 51, and she was just turning 50, and it scared me. And I've realized I don't need a lot to appreciate the little things. Isn't that so true? When we lose loved ones, or our loved ones go through a lot. My dad went through open heart surgery at 58. That was such a game changer because he's such a healthy person and took great care of himself, yet due to some heredity and genes, he needed open heart. And we talk about it all the time. It's been so many years now. He was 58. But talk about going through something. I can remember it like it was yesterday. It was an experience for me watching him go through that. And I see Kathy A is here. I'm so excited you're here, Kathy. And she says, I think we all appreciate more now as we're older folks. And we did take a lot for granted as a younger person. We didn't know we were. It's not our fault. That's just the joy of being young. You know, I look at the kids at school and, you know, I say to them when they say, I have no good news, because I always ask them every morning, what's your good news? And I sing that song from the Broadway show, The Wiz. I tell them, don't nobody bring me no bad news, good news only. And I tell them to share their good news. And some of them say, I have no good news. And I said, well, going to Disney World isn't your only good news. Being here with me today is good news. You're in school. You're healthy. To me, that's the best news, that you're here and healthy. And so I so appreciate the fact that we didn't know those things when we were young. That's how kids are. They just enjoy the moment. They live in the moment. And so I just think that we are so lucky. We are so lucky. And I want you to know how much I love you being here. I have enjoyed talking about this. You know, we relate on a different level because we are over 50. So many of the people I work with are a lot younger than I am. And so we just view things a little bit differently. But we are all sort of in this together. And I appreciate that so much. So before I sign off, I want to thank you. I hope you're subscribed to my channel. If you're not, I would love you to be a subscriber. And if you'd hit the like button before you leave the chat tonight, I appreciate that so much. I always say YouTube is like a vortex. You can easily get lost here, and I would love for more women to join our community. We have such a positive community here. We're supporting one another, loving on one another, and I just think that's amazing. So I hope you all have a blessed and beautiful rest of the week, and I'll see you on Saturday. Love you all.